Hey there everybody, Eric from Outer Limitless coming at you today with a look at this NV series trolling motor from Newport. Now this is the 46-pound thrust version. This NV series trolling motor, in my opinion, just about perfect. Now I was looking for something very specific. I wanted something that was reasonably compact, at least compact enough, reasonably portable, not terribly heavy, something that I could manage, maneuver, store, and just keep at the ready, but more so specific for a PVC boat. So kind of like an inflatable PVC boat, something that is fairly lightweight, and it's a build that I've been working on, something just to get out and spend some time on a river, and that's the next thing. Sort of typically for me, a mix between freshwater and saltwater, but kind of calmer water. I'm not looking at heavy chop, I'm not looking at heavy waves, and I really wanted something without gas so that A, it was very quiet, but B, cutting down on the potential for issues with gas pollution, spills, management of gas, things like that. So having an electric motor was very advantageous. And I wanted something that was going to have enough thrust for pushing me around at a reasonable clip, but potentially up to 2 people with gear. And I thought that the 46-pound thrust would be about that perfect range. It kind of keeps me in a reasonable battery size, and I didn't really force my hand to kind of upping the battery game, so to speak, and kept me at a manageable operational size and didn't completely kill the battery's capacity, didn't really drain the battery at a sort of rate that was going to make it kind of diminishing. So the bigger and bigger you get with a trolling motor, kind of the more and more you're going to drain on the battery. So I wanted something that would be in an efficient size. And so today what we're going to do is we're going to look at this in detail as I bust it out. You'll see how I'm building out my sort of PVC boat, get this to good practical use, and I'll give you my overall use experience. And so with the Newport NV series of trolling motor, you can get this in different thrust options: 36, 46, 55, and 62-pound thrust for 12-volt options, and 86 pounds for 24-volt options. In my particular case, I did want the 12-volt. That was advantageous to me, where it did strike the balance between something with good overall power, but something that was going to keep me in a manageable battery size and not break the bank for batteries and unnecessary inefficiency. So the problem with this seat configuration, I can't keep 2 seats in here. I do need to reduce it down to 1. I need to buy myself the space for the battery to fit in there, or I need to run the battery further up. But I think I prefer to sit a little more forward, put the battery kind of a little more forward, and that's going to buy the space I need for the bracket and the mounting on the transom, because right now there is simply not enough room to accommodate both. So that's just a little bit of a deficiency, but it is what it is. And so now you can see with the trolling motor in place, clamped onto the transom, and then the battery far enough back. I mean, it would have been definitely too tight. So I might be able to make something work where I can slide this forward a bit, add maybe another little seat, something like that, or I could get an actual seat clamped onto here so this is more comfortable. But this will work for now and gives me some more storage in a couple of different ways depending on what I'm trying to do. Now at this point you can see the motor having an adjustable length shaft. So very simple in terms of the adjustment. Little set screw here, and that can lower down, get your height exactly where you want. So pretty easy. Now in terms of setup here, I just have to get my propeller installed. So here's the propeller. You can see that this is small. Simple fiberglass reinforced nylon. Very straightforward in terms of the installation. You can see that slot. Well, that slot is intended to sit right on that drive pin. And that drive pin we're going to put in place here. And then that's going to prevent this from sliding around the shaft and not spinning at the appropriate RPMs. And then we're going to tighten everything down with the washer and the nut. So this does come with everything you need. Pin in place. Remove the thread cap. Gonna fit this right over. If everything goes right, there will be no gap, so you can see nice and tight. And now just the washer and the nut. Very simple to install the leads, where these are nice quality wing nuts, and I like the fact that they have a little bit of insulation on them, so that works out very well. And so now, with everything in place, this should fire up. Ooh baby, there we go. Nice and quiet. Sweet, full power, and we're ready to go. And so now with the motor ready to go, getting out on the water, absolutely fantastic experience. Very easy to get everything set up. Now I do manage my boat out of my truck. Pretty easy, just throw everything in the bed of the truck, and that includes the motor, the battery, and all my accessories. Getting everything mounted onto the transom, no problem, and then adjusted to the right height down into the water, very easy. This is not overly heavy, which is fantastic, and it does give me the ability to easily manage this without much in the way of difficulty. With a shaft length between 30 and 36 inches, this does have the ability to operate in both freshwater and saltwater. It has a fiberglass shaft and an LED battery meter. Again, with everything connected up to my 12-volt lithium battery, I am ready to hit the water. There's a lot of debris in this river, more specifically plant life growing off of the bottom. It's late in the season right now, kind of shallow, and hopefully I don't run into too many problems. And you can see I get into areas pretty quick that have lily pads and things like this, so having the paddle with me is going to be key to preserve the prop and not get it all tangled up. Now, it does happen, and when it happens, turn it off quick and get to work cleaning it out. I'll hope for the best in this, but so far a good maiden voyage. Now, fully open, this thing definitely has a little get up and go. In some of the deeper water, it's real nice. I mean, super smooth, definitely going at a nice little clip here. More than anything, I mean, keeping ahead of the canoes. But you definitely need to be real careful. I mean, there's such shallow stuff and just hidden little landmines in here. So head on a swivel. Now the stick is pretty predictable, just in terms of the fact that there's a nice flat spot right on the top. And that allows you to orient it just about perfectly and always know the position. Coming up to some tight areas here. Again, just need to be super careful coming into that shallow weed-like stuff. Hopefully I make it through here. Yeah, so it's going to be tough. I mean, navigating a tight little river with a lot of down trees, a lot of stuff under the water, a good amount of debris to navigate around, but I'm making it. Just take your time, go slow, learn the waters, right? So, yeah, pretty cool. Good start for sure. Now, I know it goes without saying, but in those super shallow areas and, you know, in areas with logs or impediments, you're going to have to bring this up. And I don't know, it's almost like I wish when you brought it up, it would kind of lock in a position. That way I could lock it to the side. Instead, it sort of flops around, which is not a big deal. But when I'm trying to maneuver around, it would be nice to have this down and out of the way. And that even for cleaning purposes, that would be nice too. You know, this is the type of scenario where being able to lock this up and out of the way really does come into play. Now, I said before, it'd be nice to be able to lock this. You do have the ability to technically lock this, but it requires the thumb screw. It would almost be nice if it was some sort of a locking mechanism that you could kind of get on a little more quickly, similar to what it is to raise and lower and, you know, articulate that down. Not a big deal. It does work, but these are the scenarios where I absolutely need to get that up and out of the way. Everything's plastic. I do worry about the long-term durability of this, and so that will be something I'll only be able to test through doing this stuff. We'll see. So far, seemingly okay. This is your height adjustment lock. and that's your steering direction lock. You can see, I am locking this appropriately out of the way. So far, granted, I've bumped into some stuff, snagged some things, but so far, durability wise, no problem. Prop is in good shape. Everything so far seemingly good shape. Doesn't look to have beat up on anything too tough. And obviously I completely dragged the controls through the trees, but still very good, no worries. So as I had suspected, I was making my way through the dam, got a stick kind of caught up on here. Now that stick wasn't just coming off, it's part of the dam, which meant I was hung up. So as I'm reaching back trying to get things situated, it just as simple as leaned into this, and because there's a flat spot, well, that starts going, and it's hacking on my propeller, and it's not a controlled measure. I like to be very in control of what I'm doing. So the fact that this does not have any sort of straight up, kill switch, this should be able to be fully disengaged and not capable of running. And there is nothing like that. And not for nothing, that's kind of like a safety thing. It's, care for my equipment. So there's a lot riding on the ability to completely lock things out. I don't like that about this, and that's my biggest critique. Now, a feature that I definitely like, that is awesome. The ability to extend the handle, get it to a comfortable length, comfortable distance, for my given arms, the boat geometry, your given needs. That's simple, yet very effective. I definitely like that quite a bit. And on top of all that, it allows you to stow this away easily. As you're working here, just a little bit of cable management. Things can get a little twisted up, so leave yourself enough slack to be able to eat some of that up in case you get a little bit twisted. Even after a couple hours out here, indicating that I'm still high battery, so that's a good deal. Not draining too much of my battery at all. It should last me a good few trips without charging. In reverse here, it's got 3 reverse modes. Actually, 3 is fast. Yeah, real fast. Definitely some vibration. It's not the smoothest, but I don't expect it to be. And who knows, maybe I picked up a little bit of debris. So all right guys, there you have it. A look at the NV Series Newport trolling motor, 46-pound thrust. Awesome, literally about perfect for me. I mean, this did exactly what I needed to do. Could I go with other options? Sure. Could I go with a larger one? I could, but I'd have to up the battery. You can see that things are a little bit tight in that boat. And to be honest, with the amount of runtime that I get and the quality of thrust that I get from this trolling motor, awesome. I mean, I struggle a little bit in the area where I'm going anyway, just because of the, the growth, the plant material, and the depth of the water, and kind of debris, obstacles, things like that. But generally speaking, no problem. Now, at this point, I've beat up on this a little bit. If I, buried it down into debris and bash it off of logs and down into sand, yep. Quite a bit actually, and so far it's held up well. I have taken this out in the ocean, so this has some salt water time. I washed it off, everything's holding up well, so no problems. Now, a couple of things you've heard me talking about. I would love the mechanism to be more of kind of like a quick connect, so to speak, so that I can, depress and twist the motor to the side and get the prop off to the side so that when I raise and lower it, it's quick and easy. The thumb screw is fine and it works okay, but I feel like over time, it's going to wear itself out. It's hard to say for sure. Only time will tell. And it's a little bit cumbersome where you have to manage the weight of the prop itself. So you kind of have to manage the weight of the prop while you're turning it with one hand and then setting the set screw with the other. It's not a huge deal, but boat geometry could make it difficult. I'm just lucky that the geometry of how things lay out for me does allow me to kind of manage it as I need. But other than that, reasonable features. I love the telescoping handle. That works out well. So it does kind of put this a little more in line with what I need to do. The battery indicator there. So all in all, a great experience. So that was my look at the NV series trolling motor from Newport. Thank you guys for following along. I hope you enjoyed that. Much more to come. So take care now. I'll see you soon.